Okay, so I'll be honest, after reading chapter 280, the ending of it, I'm not sure how to feel, okay? I'm not sure how to feel about My Hero Academia right now, because the GOAT right now, the GOAT of this arc, the GOAT of the last couple arcs, Shigaraki is in trouble, fam, and I get it, I understand it. On a cognizant level, I am clear, like, yo, what he's facing right now is ridiculous, it's unfair, whatnot, but I still gotta keep on standing because he's been incredible so far. It's like, why we come back to this? Why we cut back to, like, But that's not to say that it hasn't been pretty stellar, with the fight against trying to bring down Giganto Machia, Red Riot, a lot of really awesome stuff from the other characters of UA versus Giganto Machia, alongside, like, you know, Midnight and Mount Lady's Mountain Gigantic. Not to mention seeing the League on Giganto Machia's back, and like, yo, Giganto Machia been holding it down, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you're gonna have the part with Shigaraki, it's also very interesting to have the part of his monster, the Zod to his Griffith. So seeing the Giganto Machia stuff, it gives a chance for the other members of UA to shine, gives a chance to see some of the other pro heroes doing something as well, and overall it just spreads things out so that things aren't as easy. Because if Shigaraki, like what he's done up until this point, imagine if he had the League and Machia, he'd be absolutely unstoppable. So you kind of need that separation, and seeing Giganto Machia, to be honest with you, being slowed down, and we're gonna get into that, because of his commitment and him basically keeping it real and being loyal to his master and his comrades. Yeah, it's been one hell of a ride. Let's talk some My Hero Academia. Please, Horikoshi, don't do Shigaraki dirty. Don't do him like that. Come on, we need more of that greatness.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be though.
So in 279, the plan to bring Machia down continues after 278. Seeing Momo coming up, or not coming up with the idea, but basically collaborating with Midnight on the idea to get a vial of something to knock Machia out. But I gotta keep it real. Even if they, you know, because in 280, they basically accomplished their goal of getting that vial in his mouth or whatever. But from everything we've seen thus far of him being impervious to this, that, and the third, I don't think that it's going to cut the mustard. To be honest with you, I feel as though a lot of what the heroes of UA struggled to do with Machia in these last couple of chapters, I don't think it's going to come up to much. I don't think that it's going to amount to really doing damage to Machia. Again, maybe in the long run, it'll slow him down a wince and have him also, just like his master is, not completely at 100%. What was Shigaraki at? Like 70 something when he busted out of the tank and shit like that, when everything went wrong? Like, it'll probably put Machia at about 70 something, which he's kind of been riding at 70 something this whole time with the crew on his back, so he can't make moves, because if not, he would effectively kill them and shit like that. So yeah, while they have a great idea, just look at what was said in, I don't know if it was 279 or 280, because I kind of had him in a bunch, but basically it was said like, he has a quirk that transforms morale into energy, physical energy. He has a quirk that turns pain into numbness. He's numb to pain. So you think that a little vial getting thrown in his mouth is really gonna just put him on his ass? Like, come on, fam. Like, let's keep it real what we're fighting here right now. I don't think that that's going to amount to really much, despite, again, their best efforts. It's like, do you see what he is? Have you taken a look at this man, this monster, this creature? But it also shows of how he's really like the guardian of the League at the very least. Like the way he was composed and put together, whether it be that, you know, the scientific additions, because we don't know too much about Machia. We just know that he's basically like, was the pet creature to All For One, and now he's the pet creature to Shigaraki. But essentially, like, he was put together and strategically crafted to be able to do everything that he does and to be able to protect his people. So I love the parallels you see between the heroes and the villains. Like, that's kind of like something that you would see on the hero side, in a sense, if you think about it. Like, he's doing this to protect people he cares about. He just has a fucked up morale because of the whole end goal of what Shigaraki's trying to do, but he's effectively protecting his friends, his Nakama. It just so happens that his friends, his Nakama, are the League of Villains. And there was explosives on the ground from Momo. Again, pretty good strategy. It's just, again, who you're fighting, which, to be honest with you, like, it does showcase that, like I said earlier, like, Giganto Machia would have absolutely decimated them if it wasn't for him having the team on his back, literally. Like, you know, he could have dogged through, gotten away, whatever it took to be able to take these people out. But again, he don't want to kill these people, and it shows, just like, if you think about it, from where Machia was when we first met him, and how the League had to fight him for days, and Shigaraki kept on for days trying to get him to obey him and whatnot, and where he's at now, like, don't worry, comrades, I got your back. Like, yeah, it's a different story now. He's actually bonded with them, and he actually wants to protect them. And then the end of 279 was basically Mount Lady saying, open your mouth, big fella, I got something to put in there. And yeah, with Mina charging, which again, it's cool to get some of the members of UA, the other members besides the main trio, whatnot, to do some things. I was like, okay, it's fine, but yeah, again, I don't really expect much from all of them. And I think it was pretty dope as well, moving in from 279's ending to 280, with using this situation as well to push forth with Mina's character development, which kind of still shows that she has a little bit of more to go, so to speak, because when she's approaching Machia, she got the vial and everything, and you get into her flashback of what happened back in the day that kind of left her petrified with that big monster, or that big dude that was on top of her. It kind of leads again into like her trauma, and that she still has a little bit to go in order to get over that. But we open up chapter 280 with Kaminari. It seems as though he's been fucked up because, again, not only you have Machia doing shit, you got the League, you got Dabi throwing flames everywhere. Like, yeah, they got their hands full. And I'll be honest with you, I gotta give credit in this aspect to also UA, because if you think about it, Machia in and of himself, remember, if you cut back to a few arcs ago when we first seen Machia, it was like, yo, you got Gran Torino, all of these pro heroes going up against him, and they couldn't really do shit and whatnot. And they're actually holding their own not only against Machia, but also with the League of Villains on his back as well. You got Toga, you got Dabi, you got some credible foes, so you gotta give props to them. Like, even though, yeah, you got a couple of pro heroes, Mount Lady, Midnight, even though Mount Lady has just been like a rag doll, like, it's like, you know when you get tissue paper stuck to the bottom of your foot when you leave the bathroom and shit like that? Like, yeah, that's what Mount Lady has been with Giganto Machia. But you got Mina charging in, and again, it goes into her backstory. We just talked about that regarding her character development and whatnot, and you know, the acid man armor on her, which again, I'm imagining this shows that there's a long way to go with My Hero Academia. For people that are worried that this is going to be the complete end of this verse, the series, I don't think so at all. We will have a Z or Shippuden, I can almost guarantee it, because there's still so much room to grow for all of these characters. Especially, look at just an example right here. Mina's still not technically over her trauma from the past. And you just got like everyone is trying to jump the League. You see like hordes of the UA students and heroes in general just trying to jump the League and shit like that. And it's like, nice try, but the League of Villains, like, in case you can't tell, I'm rooting for the League of Villains, okay? In case you can't tell, I'm rooting for Shigaraki. I don't care. Like, yo, call me the Garo of My Hero Academia video makers or whatnot. Like, I want to see the villains win, and it might not happen, but I could still root for them. And Machia continues that he wants the shortest route to his master, and the quickest way to his master is to make sure the Nats don't get back up. So technically, like, he's kind of maneuvering his perspective now. Like, originally he's just like, yo, I gotta get away. He's like, okay, so I guess the quickest way is I gotta fuck them up, I gotta lay their asses down. Alright, sounds about right. Let me kick their ass. Like, Machia, a treat in and of himself, this giant colossal monster of filth. Then at one given point, you got Machia swinging Mount Lady's big ass. It's like, about time you got the toilet paper off your damn foot, man. Like, yo, Mount Lady, I feel sorry for her. I don't think after this arc that she's going to be in commission. I think this is going to be the retirement, the end. I don't know if she'll die. I think maybe her and Midnight will survive this, but I could see both of them having to retire. They'll, again, like I've said in another video, they will have to sit on the bench alongside All Might, and unless All Might even survives because of, you know, what Shigaraki has now, the ability to be able to sense people out and shit like that, so who the hell knows. But either way, Mount Lady, especially seeing her just getting flipped like a pancake in this chapter, it's gonna be a wrap for Mount Lady. I could be wrong, but either way, I wouldn't mind slapping her ass. Whoa, what am I saying? Like... And then as Mina is approaching with the vial, it kind of slips through her fingers, and it's just like, oh shit, more character development needed right here. But we got Red Riot showing up and basically being MVP and saving the day, obtaining the vial, and just showcasing like, yo, Red Riot is really dope. Which quickly, I want to touch up on a topic that I've seen in the community that people were talking about. I think this kind of confirms, which I don't know if we've seen Kirishima, aka Red Riot, in the same place as Machia before this particular point, but a lot of people were saying that there was a big theory of like basically Kirishima potentially being Machia. Again, unless there's some like time travel aspects, which that could very well be plausible. As of right now, he definitely isn't, but who the hell knows? And that would be just crazy. I love time travel shit. I know there's people that absolutely hate it. They feel as though it messes up the plot of things and all of that jazz, but I would totally be for it. I mean, and any Hitman Reborn fans would know the future arc was one of the most badass fucking arcs. Like, if we get a future arc, a past arc, whatever, I am here for it. Or hell, throw a movie, yo, where's My Hero Academia, Past in Time of Heroes, or some shit like that. Like, yeah. But either way, at the very least, we know that he is not, the current Kirishima is not Machia, but we don't know what could happen. I mean, they have similar abilities. If you look at their character designs, Kirishima looks like a baby version of Machia. At the very least, you could throw in a theory. Maybe that's an ancestor or a relative of some distant sort, because again, they have similar quirks and they kind of look similar. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Red Riot just looked so freaking sick while he was doing shit. I fuck with Red Riot. He gives me a vibe of like classic hero shit, but at the same time still that anime and manga shit that we love. And like I said earlier, Machia's like, yo, the Nats are down, hold on tight, comrades. Again, embracing the league, which that's going to play a very big part. Like, you know, take Pokemon for example, the end of the Indigo League. One of the things was that Ash lost because Charizard didn't want to obey him. Charizard obeys, you get a great fighter, you end up with a dub. So yeah, Charizard, obey, and he is obeying, because look at him, he's like, comrades, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of this Mount Lady bitch, you watch. But oh man, the panels that we got of Kirishima climbing up Machia's arm, it was just like, ooh, you could tell Horikoshi loves drawing Kirishima. He loves that Red Riot shit because he made it look so freaking good. And the first vial he throws, again, the bay of all bays, Toga stops one of the vials. She's like, bitch, what are you doing? Stop that shit. Come, cut the malarkey. What are you doing? But cutting back to, which was kind of nicely woven in, Mina's vial that he also had caught just a few pages before. He had that available, and he was able to toss that shit into Machia's mouth. So yeah, Machia got a nice little deep throat. No. And then you see like tanks and shit like, yo, Machia has taken an ass whipping, and again, majority of the reason is because he has to hold back. He doesn't want to kill the people on his back, because you see a big chunk of his jaw is missing. I'm wondering if they're going to do that in the anime or not, because like I think back to when Whitebeard got half his face blown off and they had to take that out in the anime, and it was just like his mustache got sniped and shit like that. Like, yo, Machia's jaw being all fucking broken up and shit, you could see through to his teeth. I was like, man, Horikoshi with his pen, bro, his pen. And yeah, for now, the Machia stuff is on pause because we cut back to what I was really freaking enjoying, and I just don't know how to feel. Like I said earlier in this video, that like everything up until that point, like 279 was dope, most of 280 I was like, yeah, Red Riot, yeah, Machia, yeah, Mount Lady aka toilet paper, yeah. But then the end of this chapter, and again, I want to speak and I gotta be specific because people take it like My Hero Academia fans, oh, why are you hating on this shit, you're not a real fucking fan. Shut up, relax. Because I'm saying from a fan standpoint, I really have grown to really like Shigaraki. The last, like this whole entire arc, and the last arc when he went up against Reed Destro and all of that shit, like I've really grown to like this dude. Like he is hands down my favorite villain of this series so far, like period. Like I really have I love what he's become, getting his backstory and everything and shit like that. So from a fan standpoint, a fan of Shigaraki's character, I'm mad. I'm like, yo, what are you doing? But it's clear. I mean, at the end of the day, he's had all of his quirks stripped from him for a while now from Aizawa's powers. So like, yo, he's fighting on pure muscle against multiple heroes, including the #1 hero, Endeavor. Like if Endeavor couldn't get this dub with every freaking thing that is thrown at Shigaraki, then it would be completely hopeless, right? So you gotta kind of give the heroes some type of edge up. Even though, again, I'm rooting for the villains. I'm clear about it. I am rooting for the fucking villains, and I don't know why I gotta keep stressing it, but yeah, that it is what it is. That's where my fandom lies. But I could also move my fandom aside and speak critically and be realistic. Yo, Shigaraki was fighting a losing battle from jump because of what he was facing. Now, you make Aizawa blink, Endeavor, you're losing. You're done. All of you are done. Because Endeavor says it's over. Without ideas, your hollow destruction fails. And I'm just like, no! Because you got Shigaraki there on the ground. Like, after all that shit that he talked, I ain't gonna lie, it's a little bit like, you know, it's karma. Because he was on top of Endeavor, looking like the Statue of Liberty on top of Endeavor's chest just a few chapters ago. So to see the turnaround is like, you shouldn't have talked that shit. Kind of like, I guess you could say, to throw it in there, it's the 50 Cent effect. Like, remember when 50 Cent used to talk about how great his record sales were, and then when he actually slipped, it was like, ha ha ha, you slipped, you're selling shit now, or like even 6ix9ine or some shit like that. It's kind of with Shigaraki. He was like, yo, I'm the greatest, I'm the best, fuck all of you, I'll shit on every one of you. And then when he takes an L, it's like, shouldn't have been talking shit. But then he gets into something that makes me wonder, is this going back to that whole mind control shit that was going on with All For One inside of his brain? Is it just that he's just a complete mess in his head, or does it have something to do with those black markings that we see on his back towards the end of the chapter? Because he just starts spouting shit out that kind of contradicts where his character is right now, where he's like, you heroes hurt your own families to help strangers, dad told me that, you want ideals, I've got them, I've had them. Where I'm like, fam, you don't give a fuck about your dad, you killed your dad, what the fuck are you talking about? So I think that could very well be, from my perspective looking at it, maybe this is the internal conflict once again rising, him taking the L, him having to be humbled. It probably is bringing him back to that other side of him that actually wanted to be a hero, that actually had, you know, good morale and shit like that, and kind of what his father taught him. Or it could be just the thing that broke, you know, straw that broke the camel's back was something along the lines of what his father, you know, his father was a big key factor in what brought him to becoming just this nightmare of a person. So a lot to unpack at the end of that chapter, but as a fan of Shigaraki, yeah, I'm not happy about that. But realistically speaking, Giganto Machia is going to eventually prevail and get back up. Realistically speaking, Shigaraki is going to eventually get up. Aizawa gotta blink at some given fucking point. It's gonna be a wrap. It's just like, okay, the heroes need to take a dub at some given point, right? We can't just have the villains just non-stop win. Either way, 279, 280, the battle against Giganto Machia, despite the fact that I don't believe that vial is gonna do much, still really dope. Mina getting a moment, Red Riot having a moment. Mina still has a little bit of a ways to go. Red Riot, you know, the theories about Red Riot and his connections to Giganto Machia, or possibly being Giganto Machia. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that Giganto Machia is the future version of Red Riot that's come to the past for whatever reason? Maybe a lot of what's going on right now is some time travel shit. Again, I would love that. I love time travel stories. I know people hate them. I love them. And the biggest question, what do you think about the ending of 280? What do you think about Shigaraki being on the ground? What's up with those black lines on his back? Is that gonna be like another transformation for him where he's gonna just turn into, maybe he's right now essentially just a husk of what's to come in terms of, like, he still has his look right now, but maybe he's gonna turn into a normal at some given point, and that's why those black lines are there. Like, his skin is gonna shed and he's gonna just be a big gigantic hulking normal. I really wouldn't like that. That feels like very cliche and like a movie type of thing. Like, keep him the way he is. Just, you know, you want to have the black lines, whatever, on some like Dante of the Dark Triad. Not saying copying. Relax, my hero fans, relax. Whatever. But yeah, I don't want him to turn into like a giant normal. And your overall thoughts of the last couple chapters, 279, 280 of My Hero Academia. Shigaraki, get back up, punch Endeavor in the mouth, and let's get this win, villains. Yeah. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and Shigaraki, come on, man, get up, get up.
It's nights like this, and times like this, what's that I can give another hit. But I've got this inside a switch, a natural bliss, but that I miss.